Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
High noon on a Tuesday here inside the SWBC podcast studio, and that means it's time for Mickey to try to figure out how to work his headset.
Like you know how to work yours.
Mine's working just fine.
Yours never changes. I'm going to, there's this note here on the media guide about this is the podcast text line and this is the podcast media guide. I'm going to put a note on here. Quit messing with the headsets.
It's not just on Tuesdays. It's any day of the week. Mickey has issues.
I thought no one used this one. Why does it always get turned on?
You know what? They got bigger problems in Buffalo than you have with your headset. I'm looking at the NFL Network right now, and they have fired their offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey. Joe Brady named the interim OC. What about the special teams coordinator?
He can't count.
Can you believe that?
There was a great line I saw.
They need a sixth
night.
Grader.
Russell Wilson benefited by the 12th man once again.
Funny. Great line. Great line.
So, 12 men on the field.
I love watching that game.
Yeah.
It was comical the entire game. I was trying to get a little workout upstairs. My son's up there. And I just texted him. I said, "You've got to come out and watch this game." We sat down. It got funnier. At the last 5 or so minutes, it got even funnier.
Well, the funniest thing probably was what Troy Aikman didn't say.
Which is
when they put up that sign in the stadium about super, and it left out the O in bowl or something. And Troy goes, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go there." They were talking about them not having won a Super Bowl, and Joe tried to just make them do it, right? He goes, "No, I'm not going to go there," because he was going to point out, and they lost 2 to us, too,
that's right.
by the way, and
1
4
to me.
in a row.
Yeah, 1 to me.
So, man.
Oh, that was really funny.
Too many guys on the field.
I mean, they tried their best to. They just didn't want Denver to go home without a win.
What do you think's up with Josh Allen?
I don't know, but he's been having this problem since he came in the league.
Apparently, it was the offensive coordinator because
that's who it is. Yeah, that's who it is.
That's going to solve the interception problem?
Yeah, that's going to stop him from throwing into double coverage. Yeah.
You can't fire the quarterback when he's making that kind of money.
I say keep that. What they say, keep that same energy when it comes to someone else, like you did with our QB.
There you go.
He's thrown 11 interceptions already.
He seems to feel like they are in a desperate situation, but he played like that from game one, as if they were desperate. I think the pressure, once he had that good game against Mahomes, everyone just fell in love with him, which is easy to because he's got the tools. But they even didn't they change overtime because they felt so sorry for him after he lost to Patrick Mahomes, and they not change overtime.
Oh, you mean in the playoffs?
Yeah. They're like, we felt so bad for him. He did such a great job. This guy's up and coming. Let's change the overtime rules or some crap. I don't know what they did. And so he's always been that prince ever since that game, and I think he's always been trying to live up to that. That's tough to live up to, trying to chase Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. And you
better watch out for them Broncos.
Yeah.
Well, now you look at the Broncos. They have back-to-back wins against Kansas City and Buffalo. They had a bye week in between the two, and they've now won 3 straight games. second hottest team in the league behind
the Cowboys.
No, behind the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow.
They've won 5 straight, right?
Minnesota's won 5 in a row, and guess who
have.
plays on Sunday night? Minnesota plays at Denver on Sunday night.
Oh, man. That's going to
Which
be great.
2 weeks ago you would have said,
This would be a snore.
yeah. Or
No one's making fun of
Can they get rid of
Sean
that Sunday
Payton.
night game and move another game to Sunday night? Well, now you got the 2 hottest teams in the league playing on Sunday night, Minnesota at Denver.
And you know what? Denver won despite
Themselves.
of Russell Wilson. What do you think's his deal? Is it just a protection? Because I bet he ran more times than he threw the ball.
He seems like he feels like Dak. You know, he's got to be this football player all the time.
Man.
And he's always been that guy, though. He never really stayed in the pocket much.
Yeah.
But I got to say, Spags, I'm trying to give him some grace because it just they weren't even Troy was said they're not open downfield, and they're definitely not protecting him. They're a much better run blocking team than they are a pass blocking team.
There should be a stat for how many yards you need to pass for to win a game.
Yeah.
He was like at 170 or something.
You offended?
No, I was just like, how does that work?
Oh man.
But anyway, we got bigger problems here.
What are they?
No problems here.
Well, we can start with Jerry basically ruling Leighton Vander Esch out for the season. And
Damn.
I think it could be a career.
I was always worried about him.
Yeah.
It's
And
Anytime that he had a neck injury, and when he went off the field in that San Francisco game, that's what the fear that everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's more than just the stinger. I think I got a stinger. I've already had vertebrae fusion in the neck, and
that's the last thing
they
you want
have
is another.
talked about me having cervical stenosis. The one line that Jerry said today on the fan, he finished by saying it has everything to do with what's in his best interests.
That's right.
So I had been told when I asked about it that it was complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't sound like physically complicated. So, yeah, I mean, he signed a 2-year, $8 million deal. And this year against the cap, he was counting 3.16. If he doesn't play next year, it's only 2.25 against the salary cap in dead money. So, yeah, you feel for the guy, and he doesn't look like a guy that is desperately having to play football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some guys will, I got to do this.
Right.
So it's kind of a sad situation for a really top-notch guy and a top-notch player.
Well, he, I could see something was going to be a problem as well when it first happened. Because, like I said, you just too many injuries in that area.
Yeah.
Especially after a serious one. Yeah, you just don't say, oh, it's another stinker. No, not in the same area.
Right.
I didn't feel good about it at all. I was worried about him even the first time before surgery. I remember talking to you guys about it. I just thought, it's scary stuff, man. I'm a DB. I feel stuff right now. I was trying my best not to hit anybody. And he's a soldier. He goes in there and he does the job. And so, yeah, you worry about that stuff.
Is there any indication when a decision will be made on Leighton? They don't have to make a decision now.
You just leave him on injured reserve.
Right. But in his that Leighton making a decision himself.
Right.
Oh, him. Yeah. I don't know that's come up, and it's probably
maybe it's on down the road. Yeah.
Well, it seems like that's what Jerry was alluding to. We're talking about complicated.
I mean, the other thing Jerry said, but we just wish him well, and just the nature of his potential injury here causes me to really think long term and beyond what it means for the next week or beyond what it means for the next month relative to the team. Well, everybody wants to know, well, gosh, what are the Cowboys going to do? Right away, it's like, is there anybody in free agency? No, you got a guy on the practice squad that you started this past game, Rashaan Evans, and played, what did I say yesterday, 28 snaps?
2 tackles.
I mean, he
and
he's a guy that wasn't in
well.
he wasn't in training camp anywhere. He signed with Philadelphia for a day, and then got out of that contract. And then a month later, after the Vander Esch injury, gets signed by the Cowboys to the practice squad. And so we're just now reaching the end of what is normally a preseason ramp-up period for a player, and so that's where he is as far as just the 28 snaps. But I thought at the time that they signed Rashaan Evans, coming off, he was a leading tackler for the Falcons last year at 158 tackles or whatever. That's more than just a guy that's filling in. That's a guy who can be a starting linebacker.
Right.
And he's still young in his career.
And they didn't do that until Vander Esch had his
after
injury.
It was after the Vander Esch injury. Yeah.
Right.
Which I didn't think. I thought they needed to do that anyway, just to shore up, get enough depth. Even when Vander Esch comes back after the injury, the injured reserve stint. But they had more knowledge on that than we did anyway.
Right.
So
exactly.
Made it a no-brainer to get Rashaan Evans in here.
And then the other thing is, Micah Parsons. They played him about a dozen snaps at linebacker, and I didn't know if that was just a plan for the Giants game, knowing that they were going to run the ball, and they played five defensive linemen and him at linebacker. But that was what I was told around training camp when I asked the question, what happens if Damone Clark or Leighton Vander Esch suffer an injury? And it's like, Micah Parsons got to play more linebacker. So that's an option. Now, the complication is that was Rashaan Evans' third elevation, and you only get 3 off the practice squad. So do they be patient and not make a move right away in hopes that somebody – I mean, you don't hope anybody gets hurt, but the percentages say somebody might have to go on IR, and then you can elevate them to 53. Otherwise, if you look at the roster and you're saying, okay, if I sign them to the 53, I got to cut somebody. And you start looking, and it's like, okay, who do you want to cut? Because you can say, well, you can put him on the practice squad.
That's what I was going to say.
He's got to clear waivers. And we've seen the Cowboys lose guys trying to clear waivers to get to the practice squad. I don't know if you guys have a suggestion on who you think could clear waivers, but I started looking at it, and it's like they only have 3 backup offensive linemen there, so you can't do that. Maybe a defensive lineman that's not active, but it's not like you're going to sneak somebody through waivers.
Not from this defense.
Right.
The one guy that came to mind to me was Eric Scott, the cornerback. But somebody out there is going to say, you know what? The Cowboys traded a 2024 draft choice to go to the first pick in the 6th round to draft this guy. They must have seen something in him.
Well, there's enough teams in this league that are half the league is out of it at this point in the season. I mean, out of the playoff race, basically. Yeah. And so you're just going to be vultures and take whoever
turn the bottom of your roster, right?
Right. Like Tyrus Wheat would be one.
And he's on the 53 now.
Right.
And he's actually playing.
Right. But, I mean, you take even a guy like him who's an undrafted guy, and the Cowboys try to sneak him to back to the practice squad, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, teams are looking for players like that a team like the Cowboys that have a lot of talent, a lot of depth, are trying to do some things with. I mean, we've already seen it this season, guys that have been picked up from Devin Harper it's very difficult for this team to get a guy to the practice squad. As far as the linebacker position goes, with what they have here now at linebacker, Yeah, and in the way not only this team but other teams in the league play nickel. I mean, your nickel is your starting defense, whatever. And so Marquise Bell is one of those linebackers, and Wanye Thomas would be the next guy in line for that type of a role in the box.
So in the game Sunday, Evans played 28 snaps, Bell played 22 snaps. So it looked like they were using Bell in more nickel situations or passing situations, and Evans in knowing that the Cowboys or the Giants wanted to run the football.
But I look at it as much as, okay, you're looking at two different linebacker positions now. One of them is a true quote-unquote linebacker. Damone Clark, Rashaan Evans are in that category right there.
Right.
And your other one is your nickel
Marquise
linebacker,
Bell.
which is Marquise Bell, and I would put Wanye Thomas. If something happened to Marquise Bell, Wanye would be one that could fill that type of a role. And then and Parsons is the wild card.
If push come to shove, I would imagine if they had to, J-Ron would also be pushed into that situation.
Yeah. He's got that same skill set. And then you got Malik Jefferson
On your practice squad, but he's already
But I'm just
used
looking
his,
at overall depth if someone goes down with an injury.
because he's already used his 3 elevations.
Right.
So you have to kind of try to figure out how to make room.
And Malik Jefferson falls into that initial category of a true linebacker. It's Damone Clark, Rashaan Evans, Malik Jefferson. That's your inventory of those true linebackers. It still seems like you're shorthanded there, but anymore in this league where you're playing nickel all the time, and as well as Marquise Bell has played, even defending the run,
And you might try to do that. These next 2 games are so close to each other, right? And then reassess after Thanksgiving to try to make a move on the 53. So it'd be interesting to see how they decide to go forward.
But they got to do something. The point is, they got to do something with Rashaan Evans. They have to sign him to the 53 this
you
week.
would think, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have at least 2 true linebackers playing. And they've had it with him up. They had that, at least that, because the last thing, and I'm sure this goes through their mind, but what if something happens to Clark? Because Clark is now Vander Esch.
Yeah.
Right. And so Rashaan Evans is his backup, basically.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, it kind of, it's not hard to go through It's hard to go through 17 games. It's not easy.
Yep. All right, we're just getting started on this edition of Mick Shots, and we will be back in just a moment.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys. That was for you, Savannah, wherever you are.
Do you think she's in the Dominican Republic
I think
yet,
her toes are in the sand right now.
That's what she informed us at the end of the show. She's headed to the Dominican Republic.
Right.
There's a wedding down there, a football season wedding. All right. Any other bad news you want to give us?
And I think C.J. Goodwin decided he needed surgery on his pec, which he needed. He was just...
Was he trying to hold out?
He was hopeful that he could brace it and get back, and I think reality hit that he's done for the season also.
Jordan Lewis, I think, did he get hurt? Or?
He did. I thought he came back in, though.
Okay.
I thought he did, because there was no real injury report after.
Right.
And no one asked.
He sat up.
No one asked about him. So, so Bill, you brought up interesting stat here.
CeeDee Lamb.
The updated stats, league stats are out right now. And when I go to leaders in receptions in the NFL, CeeDee is now 6th with 68, and 4th, it's a tie at 69. So the only guys really with a bunch ahead of him are Allen, Chargers, Keenan Allen, 73, Diggs, Buffalo, 73, and tight end Minnesota Hawkinson, 71.
T.J. Hawkinson.
Hill and Chase have 69, and then CeeDee Lamb, 68. So I just figured out and that's in 9 games, over a 17-game season, he would have 128.
Which is a trend that's really started for CD 1 year ago this week.
Okay.
I went back and looked. It was the Green Bay game last year, November 13th at Green Bay. He had 15 targets in that game for 11 receptions, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns in that game. That was the first of what would be 5 100-yard receiving games in the last 9 games of the regular season last year. And I believe he's at 5 100-yard games so far this year. He's got 3 in a row, obviously.
3. I think he's got – does he have 4? Well, anyway, from a yardage standpoint, he's 3rd now in the NFL. Think about this. 3rd in 9 games. He's got 975. Last year he finished with 1,359, and he still has 8 games left. So
he does have 4 straight 100-yard games, and it's 5 overall for the season.
Yeah, 4 straight.
So he has in the last calendar year, which is a total of 18 games, since the Green Bay game last year, he has 10 100-yard receiving games out of 18 games he's played in. And during that time, 18 games, 133 receptions for 1,778 yards in the last calendar year. 10 touchdowns, which seems low. He only has 4 touchdown catches this year.
Right.
And he had 6 touchdowns in the last 9 games last year.
Got off to a slow start because of those early blowouts. They quit throwing the ball.
That's not what he wanted to hear. Mm-hmm. He was not feeling that explanation.
Well, he only had 1 touchdown catch the first 6 games this year, and he's got 3 in the last 3 games.
He wanted to make sure they knew about it, too.
Mm-hmm.
And he let them know, hey, I'm the man around here. What's going on? I'm the one supposed to be getting all these touches. I don't care what we're going through and change of offensive scheme, offensive coordinator, play calling. I am the man. You win with me. You don't win without me. That's basically what that meeting was probably all about.
And they've done a much better job.
They listened.
Much better job of getting him away from double coverage by putting him in motion, right?
That's it.
You've been talking about
That's it. That is it.
And I think I said it, was it last week when I asked Michael Irvin about it? He was here doing an interview, and I asked him about CeeDee Lamb, and he basically came out and said he's the best 88 of us all. And it's like, why is that? And he goes, because none of us could play the slot He can play outside and he can play inside.
And none of them played in the backfield either.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They didn't hand Michael
no.
end around.
Could you imagine,
right?
Michael? That would be a disaster.
So someone asked me this morning, so do you consider CeeDee to be an elite receiver in this league?
Oh, my.
I said that was my reaction.
I won't ask you who asked you that.
It was a guy in Philadelphia.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, ask CeeDee. They asked him, are you the best receiver in the league? He goes, I'm one of one.
Well, and
I like that.
And really, if you go back and look at last year, when he started taking off was the Green Bay game. Well, that was when Dak was back in the lineup.
Right, exactly.
And the only thing that kept him, nothing against Cooper Rush. I mean, Cooper Rush got him the record this in the fourth quarter the other day.
And that was very purposeful.
That's right. But had Dak been healthy the entire year last year, it would have started at the beginning of the year last year rather than at midseason last year.
They had already figured out he needed 9 yards, and he got a 5 and a 4 to get to 151.
Great case in point on, and there's countless examples of it, CeeDee in motion and how that allows him and also his teammates to get open, whatever. But it was on his touchdown catch the other day. He was in motion, and it was a safety, Bobby McCain, who wound up on him. Mm-hmm. He had outside leverage on him, and the route running of CeeDee, he got to the...
He set him up. He still set him up.
Right, exactly. But the catch right before the Dak touchdown run, remember the Cowboys had been penalized, and they were back 2nd and 20 or so, back at their own, back at the Giants' 28-yard line, something like that.
Right.
And so they cut the distance down in half with a pass that purposefully Dak threw it low and away, and CeeDee had to go take it off his
right.
That was a hell of a catch.
It was all hands, all hands right off the top.
That was a hell of a catch.
Right, and there was, they went back to look at it on TV, like, oh, he trapped that, and then and Olsen's like, oh, that was. Olsen said what you said. That was a heck of a catch. Those strong hands, whatever. Yeah. Okay. But then if you go back and look, the next play, there's 16 seconds left in the half when Dak had his touchdown run. Mm-hmm. Go look what happened on that play and CeeDee's effect on Dak's touchdown run. CeeDee and Brandon Cooks, they had 3 receivers to the left, so they were both in the slot to the left. But CeeDee runs basically a dig, and then he went to the end zone.
Yes.
Okay, and they were playing a zone. 2 DBs go with CeeDee.
They bid it.
They both go turn their back to Dak and run with CeeDee to the back of the end zone where there was already a safety waiting back there. Yeah. So CeeDee basically took 3 DBs out of the play, which opened up the middle of the field for Dak to just jaunt right into the end zone 10-yard touchdown run.
Well, a dig route is perfect for attracting attention. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, and Dak was eyeballing him as well. Mm-hmm. So he saw everything.
Right, yeah, right. But those 2 defenders, they both just chased CeeDee. They just turned and tucked tail and ran after CeeDee.
I had it in big letters, doubled CeeDee.
And there was already a safety back there who, as Dak is crossing the goal line, finally comes into the picture. That's the effect that CeeDee has.
That's
right. And if they want to double him, okay, take your chances with Cooks, right? Take your chances with Michael Gallup on a deep route.
I thought it was a game where, it ended up being a game where we could try a lot of stuff. We need to do that.
That's a good point.
We got to try stuff. I mean, we don't want to wait till the playoffs to see if we can throw deep. We don't want to wait till the playoffs to see if Rico is ready for, first and goal, second, third and goal. Those are the kind of things that we worked on. Of course, it's a team that was really beat down at the time.
Right.
Their spirits were down, and that's the time when you need to take advantage of those opportunities. But, it won't be against the New York Giants the next time we see Dowdle. Hopefully the next time we see that type of situation, we can, say it was in a big game. It's against the Seahawks. It's against the Eagles. It's a game where we really need it. And he's been proven already.
And that sounds like Mike McCarthy's message to the team at halftime yesterday.
Right.
Which they're up 28-0, and it's take advantage of this opportunity to.
And if you listen to what he's been saying when people kept asking what's the difference in the offense, and he says we're growing. Well, Jerry got asked about it, and Jerry's point was, and you said this, and in so many words, not that McCarthy was sandbagging, but he hasn't emptied the toolbox. And he's saving some stuff, right? And Jerry basically said, you've got to work on things, but when you get to the playoffs, you got to have something different that maybe teams haven't seen.
Or hadn't seen in a while. Yeah.
And I think that's maybe this whole thing, because I think McCarthy's word is we're evolving. So evolving means we ain't there yet.
No.
And he's trying to do
Still got some
different
stuff.
things.
Still got some stuff.
Yeah. I got a hammer in that darn toolbox.
That
would be Rico. That would be Rico. Rico's the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been calling for that hammer all season, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
All right, we continue with more Mick Shots in a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
Tis the season for youth football and dance camps presented by Invisalign. Don't miss your chance to learn from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and former NFL players at AT&T Stadium on December 22nd and 23rd. Celebrate the holidays with the Cowboys. Register today at dallascowboys.com/camps.
It's like 5 weeks away till Christmas.
Well, up by the knuckle up there, they've already got the Christmas tree.
Yeah, the tree is up.
It's been up for a while.
Yeah, it was up last week.
We haven't even got to Thanksgiving
it
yet.
looks like...
Or Thanksgiving, you know?
Right.
You drive around at night.
Stepchild.
Drive around at night, and it looks like Christmas is next week. Everyone puts their lights up like by Halloween. Their lights are up.
The guy that puts our lights up.
Oh, you got a guy that puts your lights up.
You think I'm going up on the roof? I'll guarantee you, if I
probably got a guy that works on your pool too.
If I have a guy, that's me. He put him up Monday, I think. But I don't have to leave him in.
Is he at your guard gate too? Is he the one?
The guard gate? Yeah.
That mans your gate?
I'm the gate. I'm the guard gate. I'm the pool guy.
You got a yard guy?
I do have a guy that cuts my grass.
Oh, my God.
I don't have time to do
You are a
it.
kept man. Wow.
No,
I did not know
I'm
that.
spending money. It doesn't come free.
You're helping the unemployment rate.
But I haven't plugged the lights in though. I just plugged them in to make sure he.
That's good. I'm good with. Go ahead and put the lights on your house or whatever.
Yeah.
Just don't turn them on yet.
No, after Thanksgiving.
Right? Yeah.
That's the way I treat my sports. One sport at a time.
My lights are on the inside.
Yeah.
On the inside.
Not on the outside.
My lights, if I'm lucky, I take care of that. That's why the Cowboys play on Thanksgiving. That Thanksgiving weekend is my weekend to do Christmas lights. If I'm lucky, I get it done then.
Yeah, but it's hard because you don't get the whole weekend because they play the next Thursday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You can't put things off.
That's right.
And go,
You got to work on.
And you got to work on Friday, right?
You got to work on Sunday too. They're back to work, right?
That's right.
So
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Off on Wednesday, play on Thursday. You got to wait till that next week when they have the 10 days. So, by the way, we talk about what CeeDee's doing. Well, CeeDee doesn't do what he's doing unless Dak Prescott's doing what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And I just noticed that, he, in a lot of the rankings and stuff, he was around 12th, 13th. Today, Dak Prescott has the third best quarterback ranking in the National Football League, 105.1. Brock Purdy leads at 109.9, and second is Tua at 106.4. Then Dak ahead of Russell Wilson, Cousins, Stroud, Herbert, Goff, Jackson, Hurts, Mahomes, Allen, on and on. He's number one in completion percentage, 70.7%, and he is number 4 in average gain at 8.05 yards. So all of a sudden in these last few games, he has flourished. In the last 3 games, by the way, he's completed 72.7% of his passes for 1,082 yards and 11 touchdowns. So he's on fire right now also.
What did he say about that interception? Because I couldn't quite figure out how that guy was able to decipher, if he came off of a man.
I can't remember if he said bad
No, this is the advantage, Mickey, of watching the game at home. Because this is why I love watching the game at home, because I can back it up and watch the live
I can
video.
too, and except my Dish Anywhere was not working on Sunday, and they haven't called me
But you were
yet
at the
to
game,
fix
weren't
it.
you?
But I do it on my laptop.
Oh, okay.
You don't have a dish guy?
Anywhere? Yeah. No, you can't get to one.
So, and I was surprised that on the Fox telecast they did not go back and look at it, and the reason they didn't was whatever happened right after that happened quickly. Mm-hmm. Something else, the Cowboys got an interception or something. I don't remember what happened. To where they went to a commercial break and they never did go back and review what happened on the interception. Mm-hmm. CeeDee went in motion, okay, and who was it that intercepted the pass?
I think it was number 28 for some reason.
Let me go back and find it here. It was Cordell Flott. Okay, Flott. Okay. And it was funny because my wife was watching the game with me, and I went back and looked at it, and then I did the whole telestrator demonstration for her like she cared. She's sitting on her iPad, and honey, you got to look at it.
My wife hates it when I just rewind.
Yeah, I rewound it, and so I'm like, see, here's what happened on this play. Okay, CeeDee goes in motion, and you see this number 28 for the Giants? He's going with CeeDee, and what that's telling Dak is they're in man coverage, see? Because he chased him across the backfield, then he chases him back over there. But what actually happened there, he came off a CeeDee and he was actually playing zone. They were disguising their coverage, and Dak thought they were in man. He came off CeeDee and he was right there for the interception. He was threw it to Ferguson. Whatever.
I'm sure she was very impressed.
That's what happened on the play. I was able to go back and look at it.
She did not care.
And then
what quarter was that?
That was second quarter.
Second quarter, right?
No, it was late first.
Was it late first?
Late first. No, yeah. It was the last play of the first quarter.
Okay.
last play of the first quarter, and that's why they went to commercial quickly after that. And right after that, Wanye Thomas dropped the interception because they were down at the 12-yard line, and
that would have been sweet.
And so that's what it wasn't an interception. Wanye Thomas dropped the interception in the end zone, and so they never went back and reviewed the Dak interception.
Yeah, he didn't get the pass over the safety, right?
He was throwing to Ferguson,
right?
But what happened was Flott came off of Dak, who went, I don't know what route CeeDee ran, but he came off of CeeDee, and so Dak never saw him because he thought he was in man.
And it wasn't a high pass.
No,
he caught it basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was definitely.
It was a bang play. It wasn't a.
But other than that, he's been pretty darn good.
That was the only play that the Giants won, and the Giants defense won in the game.
That's true.
Well, except for 4th and inches at the goal line on the first possession.
Yeah, and then CD had to show everybody how you run the ball. In the
yes, yeah. Here's how you get into
Here's how you get in. Who
and then the run game was fine after that.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. We just needed a lesson in how to do that.
So, do we need to study Carolina?
Yes, you respect every opponent in this league, Mickey.
All right.
I mean, I love the way we came out, aggressive. I think if we played against a team of better stature and standing, I don't think we would have run Tony Pollard on that 4th down. I think we were like, okay, right now this team is, they're not quite where they want to be. We can use this as a teachable moment and get Tony into the end zone and be confidence for your offensive line as well. Well, that didn't work out.
Well, they ran it right into the teeth of the Giants' defense. I mean, Dexter Lawrence,
And Zach is up there trying to do some things, and he didn't do well that game. He didn't do well on that play.
So did you like the decision to go for it on 4th and goal at the 2-yard line on the first drive of the game?
Yes.
I did too.
Did you like the decision of the Giants to go for it on 4th and 2 at the 4-yard line after that interception? They were down 7-0 at that point. They got the interception, 3 and out basically, and they had the decision at the 4-yard line, 4th and 2, kick a field goal to make it 7-3 or go for it. And Barkley got stuffed for no gain. If I'm the Giants, I'm kicking a field goal there.
No, I like the decision. I just don't like that it was a running play. I would have tried to pass the ball.
Well, you had the rookie quarterback making his first NFL start.
Get him outside the pocket and make it simple.
If I'm the Giants in that situation, you can look at it that, okay, it's going to take touchdowns to win the game. But when you got a rookie quarterback and you just got an interception there, I feel like you got to get points on the board. And then it's a 7-3 game, and what the Cowboys wind up doing? They took the ball at their own 4-yard line and they drove 96 yards in 8 plays, and it's 14-0.
But you know what he was thinking?
I gotta stay close.
I gotta have a touchdown because we're not going to get this close.
As close as I'm gonna get. That's what I was thinking.
That's the exact reason why I take the points. Is at least I'm staying. My chances of winning this game are so remote that the only way that I'm going to win this game is if I can cause turnovers for the other team. And so if I can just stay within shouting distance, and a field goal at least keeps me within shouting distance, I have a chance to get beat 49-17 if I go for it here.
He did some very good self-scouting, and he knew what their capabilities were. And he didn't think they were going to get down there again.
And we should have done something. We talked about it. We knew it.
You know what this reminds me of? 2009, the playoff game at Minnesota. Minnesota was scoring 30-some points a game, and the Cowboys were like in 4th and 3, 4th and 4, and they elected to kick a field goal. And it was like 40 yards or so, something like that. And I'm going, no, you got to score touchdowns against this team. You got to go for it. And then they missed the field goal.
What it reminded me of was not necessarily, but I'll use this as an example. The 2007 playoff game against the Giants, where they just stayed within striking distance long enough to win the game.
And why did they stay within striking?
Because they would kick a field goal rather than going for it on
because
the
Cowboys thought they were going to win the game running the football, and all they did, it was almost like a starving man that eats and eats and eats and gets sick. They were going to run in the first half. If I remember, Marion Barber had like 100 yards rushing, and they only had like 13 or 14 points because they couldn't run the ball into the end zone. And Terrell Owens was hurt with a high ankle sprain. He should have never played, and they had nobody else at wide receiver to throw the ball to.
Oh, we're almost out of time here.
Yeah. Okay, and we'll talk to you.
Wait. 2007. I just got to see if I got to call up that game real quick.
Go, Bill.
And
no, we don't. The Giants won the Super Bowl that year. Did you know?
Yes, they did. And Williams gave up a big pass at the end of the half to lead the Giants downfield. Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't cover the tight end.
He's a cornerback?
Safety.
Oh, yes, Williams.
Oh, Roy Williams.
Roy Williams.
College Football Hall of Famer Roy Williams.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that does it for this edition of
couldn't find what he was looking for.
It didn't work to my advantage. So
Yeah, see, I knew what I was talking about.
I was looking to see how many field goals the Giants kicked in that game, and there were none, so it didn't really work to my advantage. So I thought we'll just move on.
Final score,
it was 21-17.
17.
It was 21-17.
What was the halftime score?
Boom, boom, boom. It was 14-14.
Mm-hmm. And the Cowboys only kicked a field goal the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm. Nick Folk, 34-yard field goal.
So then we were right.
That's what happened. The
we
Cowboy.
were right.
The Giants, yes.
We were right. You and I were right. Bill was wrong.
I'm going to find an example that supports my opinion. There's one game.
That's where that loss
had no shot.
There's a whole bunch of games back there where teams kick field goals.
Maybe it was the field goals.
Because back then it wasn't the cool thing to do. Go for it every time you get down on
Maybe it was
down.
the field goals the Cowboys kicked in 1989 at Washington. What did they win that game? Like 13-3, 13-9, something like that?
It was something like that. Steve Walsh. Do you want me to look that up?
Well, all you got to do is look in the media guide.
Well, okay, let's see who gets there first.
Well, you've had a head start.
That was 1989. 1989. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Oh, come on, computer. Come on, laptop. Let's go. All right, iPad. Come on. It was
13-3. I had it right.
But we tied.
13-3.
All right, that does it.
Everson Wall's defense just shut down Doug Williams.
And they kick field goals to get to 13.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. There? 2 of them.
Yep.
Because Jimmy knew that they didn't have the firepower to score touchdowns.
Exactly, which is my point on why you kicked a field goal if you're the New York Giants on Sunday.
That's the last.
All right, so I won that argument.
That was the last game I started.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Was Arizona after that?
Yeah, Arizona was right after that.
No, it wasn't. Let's see. Washington. Yes, it was. Phoenix. And that was the game, right?
This is my life.
24.
This is my life.
24-20.
How dare you question my life?
Well, you started the Phoenix game. That would have been the last one.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, second to last start. All right, that does it for this edition of Mick Shots. We'll figure out what we can look up tomorrow on the next edition.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. How about this, Cowboys?